Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects what many of us put on our plates every day: processed meats. We're talking about things like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, and deli meats. They're quick, they're convenient, and let's be honest, they can be really tasty. But have you ever stopped to wonder what they're actually doing to our bodies? A growing body of scientific research is painting a pretty clear picture, and it's a bit more serious than just counting calories. The message is becoming louder and clearer. No amount of processed meat is entirely safe for our health. That's a bold statement, I know. So, today, we're going to unpack the science behind it, look at what makes these meats so risky, and explore what this all means for our daily meals. First, let's define what we mean by processed meat. According to the World Health Organization, or WHO, processed meat is any meat that has been transformed through salting, curing, fermentation, smoking, or other processes to enhance flavor or improve preservation. This isn't just about adding a little salt and pepper. We're talking about industrial processes that fundamentally change the meat. This includes favorites like ham, salami, pepperoni, corned beef, and even some types of jerky and canned meat. The key takeaway here is the transformation process. It's these very processes, designed to make meat last longer and taste a certain way, that introduce harmful compounds. So, what's the big deal? Well, in 2015, the WHO's International Agency for Research on Cancer, or IARC, dropped a bombshell. After reviewing over 800 studies, they classified processed meat as a Group 1 carcinogen. This puts it in the same category as things like tobacco and asbestos. Now, before you panic, this does not mean that eating a hot dog is as dangerous as smoking a cigarette. The classification is about the strength of the evidence that something causes cancer, not how much cancer it causes. The evidence linking processed meat to cancer is just as strong and conclusive as the evidence linking tobacco to cancer. The main cancer we're talking about is colorectal cancer, which is cancer of the colon or rectum. The IARC report concluded that eating just 50 grams of processed meat every day increases the risk of colorectal cancer by 18%. What does 50 grams look like? It's about 2 slices of ham, or 1 hot dog, or a couple of strips of bacon. For many people, that's a regular part of their breakfast or lunch. An 18% increase might not sound huge, but it's a significant, preventable risk factor for one of the most common types of cancer worldwide. And remember, that risk is for every 50 grams every day. The more you eat, the more the risk adds up over your lifetime. But why? What is it about the processing that creates this risk? There are a couple of key culprits. The first is a group of chemicals called nitrates and nitrites. These are added to many processed meats to preserve them, prevent the growth of harmful bacteria, and give them that characteristic pinkish color. When we eat these meats, the nitrites can form N-nitroso compounds, also known as nitrosamines, in our gut. These nitrosamines are known to be potent carcinogens. They can damage the DNA in the cells lining our colon, and this damage can lead to cancerous mutations over time. Some products are now labeled nitrite-free, but they often use natural sources like celery powder, which is still high in nitrates that can be converted into nitrites in the body. So, it's not a simple loophole. The other major factor is the cooking process, especially high-temperature cooking like frying or grilling. When processed meats are cooked at high heat, two other types of carcinogenic chemicals can form. These are called heterocyclic amines, or HCA letters, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PAHs. HCA letters form when the amino acids and creatine in the meat react at high temperatures. PAHs form when fat and juices from the meat drip onto a hot surface or open flame, creating smoke that then settles back onto the meat. Both HCA letters and PAHs are mutagens, meaning they can directly damage our DNA, increasing cancer risk. So, we have the nitrates and nitrites creating nitrosamines inside our bodies, and then the high-heat cooking creating HCA letters and PAHs on the outside. It's like a one-two punch of carcinogenic compounds every time we eat these foods. And the health concerns don't stop with cancer. Numerous large-scale studies have linked regular consumption of processed meat to a higher risk of other serious chronic diseases. Let's talk about heart disease. A major review published in the journal Circulation looked at data from over 1 million people. It found that while red meat consumption had a weaker link to heart disease, processed meat consumption was strongly associated with a 40% higher risk of developing coronary heart disease. This is likely due to the high levels of sodium and saturated fat found in many processed meats. A single hot dog can contain over 500 milligrams of sodium, which is more than a third of the recommended daily limit for many adults. Over time, this high sodium intake can lead to high blood pressure, a major risk factor for heart attacks and strokes. Then there's type 2 diabetes. The same massive study found that each 50-gram daily serving of processed meat was associated with a 19% increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Other studies have found even higher risks, some up to 30 or 40%. The exact mechanisms aren't fully understood, but researchers believe it's a combination of factors. The high sodium, the nitrites, the advanced glycation end products formed during processing, all of these can contribute to insulin resistance, inflammation, and damage to the pancreatic cells that produce insulin. This creates a perfect storm for the development of diabetes. So, the evidence is pretty overwhelming. From cancer to heart disease to diabetes, processed meats are consistently linked with negative health outcomes. This is why the research consensus is shifting from eat less to is any amount really safe? The studies show what's called a dose-response relationship. This means the more you eat, the higher your risk. There doesn't appear to be a safe threshold below which the risk disappears completely. Even small, occasional amounts contribute to your cumulative lifetime risk. Think of it like sun exposure. A little bit of sun isn't likely to cause skin cancer tomorrow, but every exposure adds up over your life, increasing your overall risk. It's the same principle with processed meats. This can feel a little daunting. These foods are everywhere. They're part of cultural traditions, family gatherings, and quick weeknight meals. So, what can we do? The goal here isn't to create fear or guilt, but to empower you with information so you can make informed choices for yourself and your family. The first step is awareness. Simply knowing the risks associated with these foods is a huge part of the battle. When you see a sausage or a slice of pepperoni, you're no longer just seeing a piece of food, you're seeing the science behind it. The next step is to actively reduce your intake. This doesn't necessarily mean you have to go cold turkey overnight, unless you want to. A great strategy is to start by swapping out processed meats in your regular meals. For example, instead of a ham sandwich for lunch, try a chicken salad sandwich using leftover roast chicken or a hummus and veggie wrap. Instead of bacon with your eggs, how about some sautéed mushrooms and spinach or a side of avocado? For that pizza topping, swap the pepperoni for bell peppers, onions, and olives. These small changes can make a massive difference in your weekly intake of processed meats. Focus on what you can add to your diet, not just what you're taking away. Crowd out the processed meats with more whole, unprocessed foods. Lean proteins like chicken breast, fish, beans, lentils, and tofu are fantastic alternatives. They provide the protein and satisfaction you're looking for without the harmful additives. When you do eat red meat, choose fresh, unprocessed cuts and cook them using gentler methods like baking or stewing, rather than charring them on a grill. And remember, every meal is an opportunity to make a healthier choice. If you have a hot dog at a baseball game, don't beat yourself up. Just make a conscious effort to choose a healthier option for your next few meals. It's about progress, not perfection. The overall pattern of your diet is what matters most. By consistently choosing to limit or avoid processed meats, you are taking a powerful, proactive step to protect your long-term health, reducing your risk for some of the most common and devastating diseases of our time. It's one of the most impactful changes you can make for a healthier, longer life. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope this breakdown was helpful and gave you some food for thought. What are your favorite swaps for processed meats? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video valuable, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more evidence-based health content. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.